Gattaca is an intriguing and thought-provoking film that investigates the potential consequences for both society and the individual of genetic engineering. In the not-too-distant future, mankind is divided between valids and invalids, or those who have received genetic intervention to maximise their potential, and those whose genetic makeup is left to nature or God, and are therefore more prone to potential weaknesses, with percentage calculations of specific defects on offer. As a result of this scientific intercession, society assumes the superiority of those who have been biologically tinkered with, and denies opportunities to anyone predisposed to genetic weakness. Career pathways are decided primarily on the basis of likely biological aptitude and ability. As presented, society is a sterile, dull and highly ordered place, devoid of character, initiative or interest. It appears that the pursuit of perfection comes at a price. The parents of the aptly named Vincent Freeman favour leaving their offspring's makeup to nature, though they alter their approach to conception for their second son, Anton, as Vincent is born with a variety of possible conditions which may restrict his life expectancy and will certainly limit his life choices in the society into which he was born. For Anton, they opt for wide-ranging, if not complete, intervention, allowing them to take more pride in their second son. As a rule, invalids accept societal limitations and lead second-class lives, but Vincent has a burning passion for space exploration and discovery, so he goes to extreme lengths to dupe screening measures in place to detect the presence of invalids in his workplace, Gattaca. This is the future equivalent of NASA, and its purpose is to send our most gifted and able into space to investigate, learn and develop our knowledge and awareness. Vincent is literally and metaphorically reaching for the stars, as he refuses to recognise limits placed on his advancement laid down by society. There is no question or doubt as to the standard of his work. He is highly praised by a mission director and is due to be sent to Titan in the near future. Yet, he would be expelled immediately if his true nature were to be discovered. Clearly, this implies criticism of a purely science-based and biological evaluation of a person's worth, and presents a somewhat mechanical view of mankind. Limitations are set by body parts, and no account is taken of spirit, determination and courage in the face of adversity, all of which may compensate for physical weakness or may indeed come about as a result of deficiencies. Nor is account taken of the fact that parts judged to be potentially defective may function perfectly well even if they don't conform to set standards. Vincent takes on the identity of Jerome Morrow, a valid who had a promising career in athletics but who was disabled in a road accident. Jerome seems reasonably happy and willing to help Vincent achieve his goals by providing biological samples that Vincent can use to fool systems established to verify identity. Eventually, however, we learn that Jerome's life-changing accident was actually the result of attempted suicide. In a world where perfection and success are prized above all else, Jerome could only achieve second place, and this led to a sense of failure, depression, and finally attempted suicide, ending in a career-crushing inability to walk. Expectations set by genetic intervention can have, then, a devastating effect even on valids if, for whatever reason, they fail to live up to the expectations set for them. Vincent and his brother Anton regularly compete in a swimming challenge. Very simply, they swim out together as far as they can from the shore, and the first to weaken and head for home is the loser. This competition is very important in the film because it illustrates values set by society as Anton arrogantly expects to win but shows no sympathy or remorse when Vincent loses, simply accepting his superiority as his due. It also informs us of Vincent's character as he persists in taking part despite knowing the likely result, but refuses to give up hope and gives his all to the task. Finally, it delivers a message essential to the film, suggesting that we are more than the sum of our parts, and spirit, determination and nature can overcome apparent obstacles. When Vincent eventually defeats his brother, he is gracious and caring as he saves his brother's life. Perhaps having to fight for success has taught him to appreciate aspects of life, and life itself, more than his brother's life as a valid has allowed him to do. His success also gives him the confidence to break away from his family, reject the limitations imposed on him by society, and pursue his dreams. Vincent develops a relationship with Irene at Gattaca. Although she is a valid, she is biologically imperfect, and her imperfections impose limits on her career. When Vincent tentatively declares feelings for her, Irene is open about her defects and considers these grounds for taking their budding relationship no further. Although she is very able and efficient, Irene can appear vaguely despairing and unfulfilled. Once again, genetic intervention and the expectations that accompany it seem to have had a negative effect on the individual, and these may deny a positive influence on society by restricting application of abilities. When faced with Irene's defects and her offer to terminate their burgeoning relationship, Vincent rejects her evidence and clearly judges her not by her biological makeup, but by her whole being, much to her delight and satisfaction. Later on, when Irene discovers the truth about Vincent, who respects Irene to the extent that he cannot maintain his false identity with her, she reciprocates his rejection of evidence of biological weakness and opts to trust her instincts rather than give in to societal pressure. The murder of a project manager in Gattaca is a dramatic device used to propel the story, though it's really only the mechanism to allow the exploration of character and themes so essential to this film. There is little question of Vincent being the murderer, but the situation creates threat and engages the audience as Vincent may be unmasked and his plans wrecked. However, the murder storyline is used to say more about society and its prejudices based on genetic engineering. The detectives investigating the murder are clearly held in no high regard, in good part because an interpretation of their not quite top-notch DNA has resulted in their being channeled into what are considered second-rate positions, for which they may have no particular liking, leading to frustration and bitterness. It is revealed that one of the detectives is none other than Vincent's estranged brother Anton. By rejecting society's strictures and by working hard and showing initiative, Vincent has hauled himself to a position superior to that of his supposedly more able brother, proving the system wrong. Society is so obsessed with the idea of genetic and social engineering, and has such faith in science and its precepts, that the detectives assume an invalid is responsible for the murder of the director, simply because they find an eyelash belonging to an invalid, Vincent, on the premises where the crime was committed. This suggests a blinkered and prejudiced attitude, and a willingness to attach guilt by mere association, rather than seeking substantive evidence. Eventually, they are forced to open their minds to other possibilities and the truth, and they discover evidence which leads to the capture of the murderer, another director who had motive but whose genetic makeup contained no hint of violence, so he was not investigated. The implication is that humans remain unpredictable and cannot be completely programmed or even understood, despite scientific intervention. Toward the end, the doctor who has conducted many tests on Vincent unexpectedly takes a final sample from him as he is about to board the spaceship bound for Titan, and his true identity is revealed. The doctor makes an observation that suggests he has known the truth for some time and goes on to falsify the data, allowing Vincent to board the ship and fulfill his dreams. The doctor talks of his son who did not turn out as expected, and so presumably the doctor came to doubt the validity of the entire basis for society and has gone on to apply common sense and humanity. He appears to judge Vincent as a whole rather than focus on supposed physical defects. On the face of it, this is a science fiction film, but I would suggest it has many elements of a philosophical film, as it invites thought and reflection and it focuses on ideas. It presents potential consequences of genetic engineering in an engaging and absorbing way, and it appears to suggest that to reduce humanity to scientific deconstruction and then reconstruction is to fail to fully understand humanity and may even restrict its progress. This film may not have done well at the box office, but it makes a worthy contribution to the category of reflective films which do not rely on action or comedy to maintain the attention of the audience. It is a beautifully crafted and well-acted piece that deserves far more attention than it gained on release. It seems to have gained cult status these days, and deservedly so. My thanks for taking the time to watch this video. I hope you found it of some value.